One of the best, most exciting first halves of soccer I've seen in such a long time. I'm talking across Europe. I'm talking across leagues. It doesn't matter. This is one of the best first halves I've seen in soccer. It had everything. It had goals, hard fouls, beautiful play, and the environment at Snapdragon Stadium was absolutely insane. The LAFC fans, they brought that op energy because they tried to come into San Diego. I don't know if y'all seen the videos. They tried to take over Old Town and tried to make it theirs. They tried to get hype before the first whistle even blew. And during the game, I sit right underneath the supporter section for the opposition. They sit right above me. I'm right in the lower level. They sit right above me. The energy they brought was absolutely insane. Got to give it up to them. I love when teams can talk trash, do it respectfully. Of course, things are said, but it was just such a great environment. They were getting at us. We were getting at them. They brought it there. So I got to give them their shout out. I got to give them their props. But one thing they did not take, they didn't take any points from this game. And the thing that they did take was that L, because they took that back all the way to LA. We beat LA and we did it in style. And San Diego FC got their first home win at Snapdragon Stadium. We're still undefeated in our home pitch. So you gotta love that. And there's just so many great things to talk about during this game. Obviously, a couple things we could have done better. Won't get too deep into that because a win is a win, a W is a W. And we beat a team that a lot of people think are one of the best in the West. So you take that every single time. But before we get into the game, just a quick reminder. I have a free ticket giveaway going on my webpage right now, penaltykickpodcast.com. All the rules, all the disclaimers, all the entry to sign up is all on the website. Please go through there. This has nothing to do with YouTube. It's not sponsored by anyone else. These are just my season tickets for the San Diego Wave that I'm going to give away. The drawing is going to be on April 9th. The game is on April 12th. It is completely free. So go to the penaltykickpodcast.com. Go sign up if you want to win some free tickets. But enough of that, because Vamos SDFC, the starting lineup changed once again. You can't really put your thumb down on a specific starting lineup to start every single game. But I think this was the correct starting lineup. We also had McNair back. We had Godoy back, and it made all the difference. Rewatching the tape, our center of the defense, our center midfield defense as well, looked so much better. Also, Varas put in Lawfulson and Negri instead of William Bombino. So he keeps kind of flip-flopping those sets of players. It's either William Bombino or Lawfulson and Negri. I will say now, after watching multiple games with all of those individuals getting their opportunity to start, I think Negri and Lawfulson are the correct call. They are the better players for our team. Negri, I think, is super solid. I'm not going to say he's great on defense. I'm not going to say he's great on offense, but he's solid. And so I will take that all day. And I think Negri should be the starter on the left wing back position. He's just very, very reliable. Lawfulson, y'all know, if y'all been watching my episodes, Lawfulson, it's not always great. It's not always great with Lawfulson. Had some turnovers. He got beat a few times. A ball that went over his head. He lost the ball. Then he fell. A defender was able to go by him. But luckily, no goal happened from that. So Lawfulson's got beat a couple times. However, Lawfulson has a really good connection with Dreer. And I think because of that, you keep him in the game. You make sure he starts because the connection they have makes Dreer more dangerous of a player, and he's already dangerous in and of himself. So I think Lawfulson and Negri need to be our starters. They're just more solid. They bring a little bit more than Willie and Bombino. But where Mikey Varas got it absolutely correct, he played Valakati at the striker position down the middle, and he put my boy, the individual that I've been trying to talk up since preseason, just because he shows up on tape every time I see him on tape, Mighton. Mighton started on the wing over Angel. Angel did not start in the middle. Angel did come on as a sub, but I think that was a correct call. Valakari at striker and Mighton, or even Angel on the wing. I'm very glad Mighton got to play, and we got to see just him ball out last night. So, rewatching this game, Mighton takes players on. He just goes and runs at people. And I think that is so difficult when you're a defender, knowing that an offensive player is going to run at you instead of trying to run around you or trying to pass the ball backwards all the time. Of course, Mighton did that too. And I think he just made a lot of good decisions when the ball was at his feet. And I think that's super, super important. So it was just awesome to see Mighton do that. And Dreer is pure class. The more I see of him, the more I'm impressed. Not only obviously just pure attacking, running at defenders, you know, he's a stalwart on our right side, arguably our best player on the pitch without Chucky there. He is phenomenal, but it's his passing, it's his movement, it's his positionality. Dreer is pure class. Then to round out our attackers, Valakari at the striker position. And this is what I called for in the last episode. I wanted him down the middle because I think he can play as a drop back, almost striker midfielder, right? Like a hold up play. And I think it works really well for our team. And that's what I saw when Ingvartsen got injured and Valakari was subbed in. That's what happened that game. And then last game at Austin, they put Valakari on the wing. I didn't think it worked as well. So I loved seeing him down the middle. And he also, when I was rewatching the tape, he started acting as a floater. And if you watch Lionel Messi, I think arguably not only one of the GOATs, if not your GOAT, but what he's really great at is floating. He doesn't really have a set position. He just kind of finds space on the field and then goes. Valakari was doing that same thing. He kind of floated, right? He'd drop back low, but he'd also float to the right. He'd float to the left, which then left space in behind for Dreer and Mighton to go down the middle, which they did. Rewatching the tape, I'd see Mighton sometimes in that striker position. Dreer even floated into that striker position as well, which causes all sorts of problems for the defense. So I loved seeing their movement. The attacking was absolutely phenomenal today. We looked great on the attacking end. And really, we only had a lapse of about 10 minutes throughout this game, but we'll get into that. All credit to Mikey Varas for making those changes to make our team look so much better this game than they did against Austin FC. And yes, we were missing some players against Austin FC, but still, everyone's missing players during the international break, so you can't use that as an excuse. But let's get to the game. The first half for San Diego FC was poetry in motion for the most part. Again, maybe for a 10, 15-minute spell, we had a little bit of a lapse. We did have a scary moment in the beginning. This happened in the 7th minute where Lawfulson got beat on the wing. He was a step late getting out to the wing, and he didn't have the speed to catch up to the winger. And then the winger sends in a cross that's really low, and it kind of deflects off one of our defenders into another defender, and it almost causes an own goal, but the ball thankfully went wide. After that, I can't really say anything about LAFC because we dominated pretty much the rest of this first half. We dominated possession, and we finally got the breakthrough. We got the breakthrough when Godoy got fouled, kind of probably 10 yards from the top of the box on the left side. Dreer stepped up to take the free kick, and Dreer just whips in this beautiful in-swinging cross. Lloris, the keeper, couldn't come out and get it because it was in the perfect spot. And it goes kind of near towards the back post. And McVeigh, who is not only a tall human being, this dude is athletic. He jumped out the building to get a glancing header onto the ball. And the ball then goes into the top right 90, top right corner of the goal. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. 1-0 San Diego FC in the 21st minute. Dreer wasn't done. And this was like almost the exact same spot for a free kick that we just scored on. And in the 33rd minute, Dreer sends in another beautiful in-swinger, but it's actually way too close to Lloris. Lloris goes up to grab it, but he fumbles the ball and then he falls over himself. Valakari was the first to react because the ball just kind of, it looked like time stood still. And Valakari just ran, smashes it home, 2-0, San Diego FC. Really don't know how Lloris dropped that ball. I will say McVeigh flashed right in front of Lloris, so maybe that's what happened. He got unsighted for 1 quick second, but Lloris is a generational keeper, and he made the mistake. But you got to take those opportunities when they present themselves, and San Diego FC did. Then 7 minutes after that, this was some of the most beautiful build-up play I've seen from San Diego FC, and I think this is exactly how we want to play under Mikey Varas' system. But we moved the ball all the way from the defense, one pass through kind of the middle of the field, just a straight pass all the way to Luca Della Torre, who then takes it to the left side, kind of drifts into the left side, and then we just start passing the ball from the left to the middle to the right side. So we swing that play as we're moving our players forward quickly. And then on the right wing, send in a low cross that is kind of deflected by Valakari in the middle, and Mighton is open on the back post, and Mighton taps it into the goal. Much deserved goal for Mighton because he was just so dangerous all game. He got himself into great spots. He was taking players on. We are 3-0 to the good, and the game's over, right? Not quite. We're still in the first half, FYI. We're still in the first half, and LAFC gets a goal back. And sometimes, you know, I like to analyze certain things, like what broke down on the defensive end, you know, where were the mistakes that led to a goal. But you kind of got to just give a golf clap to this one because it was just a stunner of a shot from an LAFC player from outside the box, hits the top post and goes down and in. So top, down, in. And could we have maybe pushed players towards the player that shot the ball? Yes, I think Dreer was in the area. He probably could have pushed up to close down the ball. But also from that distance, I don't think many thought he would score, but he did. LAFC is technically back in the game. It is 3-1. And this is the one that got me. This is the one that I'm a little disappointed about. This is the goal that I was a little bit angry about. I mean, beautiful play by LAFC, but Negri got a little bit lost. There was a long crossfield pass. Negri pushed in way too much inside, so the wing was wide open. The LAFC player got it, ran down the wing, crosses it all the way to the left side. It goes kind of through almost the 6-yard box. I was thinking maybe CJ Dos Santos could have had a chance to get it, but rewatching it earlier today, he really didn't have an opportunity. But the ball goes all the way through our defense, all the way through our box. Then an LAFC player on the left side passes it back to the center, and there is an open player at the 2-3 yard spot from, you know, our goal. And, you know, they just, you know, tap it in. And that was at the end of the half. You can't let goals like that go in at the end of the half. We had a 3-0 lead, and then you give it up to a 3-2 lead right before halftime. That was disappointing. It looked like we turned off a little bit mentally. Like, oh, they're not going to score. Oh, I don't need to run as hard because they're not going to score. It looked like we had a little bit of that, as well as being like, hey, we're up 3-0. Yeah, you know, they might get one back, but they got two back. And I didn't like that because it looked lazy. That defense really looked lazy, especially on the second goal. The first goal, you got to tip the cap. But in the second half, I was also a little bit disappointed. LAFC got a second yellow, which led to a red card. We were up 10 men for almost 40 minutes plus in the second half, if you include stoppage time. And we did not score another goal. We had a few opportunities where we possibly could have. Lloris actually made a couple really, really good saves to keep them in the game. Valakari almost had one, and it was just beautiful build-up play. Obviously didn't put it away. But I will say, LAFC with 10 men probably actually had the more dangerous chances near the end of the game, especially. I mean, they were pressing. But there's no reason we should not have scored another goal. There's no reason to allow a 10-man team to look better than you for long stretches of that second half. So, you know, that's something, you know, I was a little bit worried about, but we saw the game out. We didn't make any errors. We didn't make any mistakes. And also another beautiful thing, Chucky is back. Chucky Lozano got on the field. I didn't know if he was going to. I'm really big proponent of, if they're not ready to start, they shouldn't be per se ready to play. I would have loved, to hold back a little bit. I err more on the side of caution when you have a great player coming off an injury, but it was great to see Chucky back on the field. What does this mean for Maiton? What does this mean for Angel? Does Angel maybe go in the middle? Do we keep Valakari up top in the middle? Maiton's probably not going to get any time on the left side, only maybe as a sub, because you can't take Chucky off the field. Even if Maiton is looking great, Chucky has to be there. So what does that mean? But we get the win. 3-2, we get the win. Absolutely awesome game. Absolutely great environment. Loved my time there. They also gave these hats. These hats are solid. They do really good game giveaways. So I've been enjoying that. But SDFC now leapfrogs LAFC in the West standings. We currently sit in second place, but Austin FC has a game in hand. If Austin FC wins their game today, they will leapfrog us into second, and then we go back down to third. So the worst we can do at the end of the day today is be in third. So we're looking great. We're still looking absolutely awesome. We're making a name, in the West, and we also beat LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy was our first win in history, regular season. Then LAFC was our first win at home. We are the kings of SoCal right now. We are the kings of SoCal. The So Clásicos, we are winning. So we have to give ourselves some props. We also got to say, hey, LA, y'all got to do better. San Diego's here. We're ready to fight. We're ready to play. We're ready to take this on. So I love seeing that we are the kings of SoCal. And the next game we have is Seattle Sounders at home at Snapdragon Stadium. The Sounders are currently 12th in the standings, so I do expect a win. I do expect us to stay undefeated. I do want to see us utterly dominate. I really want like a 3-0, 3-1 game kind of thing, because I think we have that talent. I think we do have that stature. I think we can continue to push and be better and better and better. And I think we're going to, because again, this team has just started really playing together. And so once we get our lineup solidified, I do want to see Negative and Lawfulson in on that next game. But let's stay undefeated. Let's go San Diego FC. Hey, if y'all like, this content, if y'all are feeling this channel, please like, please subscribe, please share this out. Also, if y'all want to come on the show, I'm going to start doing more call-ins and kind of sports radio on this show. So please don't hesitate to contact me. You can go to the penaltykickpodcast.com. There's a contact tab, and you could just, send in a message. I'll try to, reach out within, a day or two. And so if y'all want to, show up on the show, if y'all want to talk San Diego FC, all things soccer, please, please, please hit me up. Have y'all on this show. We'll record something. Y'all have a great rest of the day. And until match day 7, I'll see y'all at the pregame.